Loving Hashem is not a foundation. Loving Hashem is something you hope to get to after you have fear of Hashem. Now, in today's world, people don't like to teach this type of Torah. And the reason why is because it puts everybody in check. Everyone looks in the mirror and says, wait a minute, I got to do tshuva. Yeah, but I've been religious my whole life. Exactly. You got to do tshuva now. You've been religious your whole life. Now it's time to do tshuva. I never did any mitzvot. Okay, so it's time to do tshuva. You and the religious guy are all in the same boat. Everybody has to do tshuva. Zot chukat HaTorah. That's the entire Torah. Why? Until you've made the Torah you have not done tshuva. You have not become the full potential of you. Now, anyone that thinks that their understanding of the Torah is more correct than what was just said, then they have to go and debate the entire Gemara, the entire Shulchan Aruch, Shlomo HaMelech, Hashem himself, and it could be a very expensive battle to fight. Now, one of the ways that's a critical step, a critical tool for a person to use in order to get to tshuva, in order to get to the truth, is through their rabbi. And the reason why is because a good rabbi, he's going to be your vessel of truth. He's going to be your source of truth. You're going to be the vessel. He's going to be your source of truth. You're going to find out emet and sheker from him. Why? He's the one that spent his life learning, his energy learning, identifying kasher and tameh, sifting through the falsehood, and bringing you a ready-made dish. To such an extent that the Gemara in Masechet Yevamot, page 109b, says that whoever decides to rely on his own knowledge, learns Torah on himself, learns books, he has all these books and more books and books and books and books. People like to buy books today, Baruch Hashem. He has all these books, even though he only learns on his phone. And he says, listen, if I want to know something, I'll just go open a book. Or Rabbi Google. What do I need a rabbi for? This is a person that relies on his own knowledge instead of consulting with a Rav, is despised by God. No more, no less. Despised. Despised means Hashem hates him. Why? Because this is a person that has so much ego that he assumes that everything he says is going to be right. He assumes everything he's going to say is going to be right. When he opens the book and he reads the Gemara, he assumes that what he understood is right. When he opens the Shulchan Aruch, he opens the book, he said, Halacha such and such, he thinks he understands everything like it's supposed to be said. Okay, I can judge for myself. I know how to conduct business kosher. I know how to conduct Shabbat kosher. I know how to conduct marriage kosher. Okay, if I can do everything myself, I don't need a rabbi. Hashem hates such a person. Why? Because number one, it shows that he has bad midot. It shows that he has no humility. And humility is one of the stepping stones to become something special in this world. It's the ultimate stepping stone. Humility is the key to become a vessel to earn Torah. For Hashem to give you Torah, you have to be humble. Just like Mount Sinai was the most humble mountain. Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble man. Each one of the giants in every generation, you will see, was always the most humble. Why? The more humble you are, the more Hashem wants to give you more Torah, the truth. But once you think you have it, you know it, then you could be your own Rashi, your own Tosfot, your own Rambam, your own Posek, your own Rebbe, your own Mashgiach, your own lecturer, your own Mechazek, everything. Already we know you failed miserably on rule number one. You have no midot. The second thing is is that a person like this has such lack of Yirat Shamayim that he's so confident in his own judgment ability that he says, listen, I'm going to go to the grave with this decision. Meaning that if he made a decision that's wrong, and according to the Torah, it's death penalty, and he made a wrong decision, he could be making this decision for 70 years. Every week, he's a Mechalel Shabbat, but he thinks he's a tzaddik. Every week, he thinks he's tzaddik, but in reality, he's a Mechalel Shabbat, just like the guy that's driving. But he has such a big ego, he does not allow himself to learn. Does not allow himself to get out of his own way, and he can never be a person that's called a Baal Tshuva. He can never have the merit of being a Baal Tshuva. Why? He doesn't get out of his own way. Sometimes you see people going to Shurei Torah for 20 years. Nothing's changed. Still don't have Kisui Rosh, still don't have tzitzit on, still walk around with a bathing suit, still walk around as if HaShem is not real, still. No, but I went to this shiur 3 times this week. You're better off not going. Why? It's not affecting you. It's the wrong shiur, or you're the wrong person. Something's wrong. You went to shiur for 20 years. Nothing changed. Something's wrong. The Chachamim say that part of that fault is the rabbi's fault. Why? How are you going to teach somebody for so many years and he hasn't changed? How is it possible? One of the big rabbis in Israel was learning chavruta with one of the anashim, one of the people that was a chaver knesset, was in the Israeli government, but was known to be a kofir, known to be mamash a heretic, but not only a heretic that hated religious people. Everything he did was anti-religious. He would always go for the laws that made the life of the yeshiva boys miserable. He would always make the laws that make the life of the religious people more miserable, take money, all types of things. Now, most people thought he never learned a word of Torah. They just thought maybe just a self-hating Jew. Unfortunately, we have many of them. Erev Rav, the Smolanim, the lefty liberals. But then one day, Rav Ovadia, alav hashalom, finds out he actually is learning chavruta with a big rabbi. That's a head of a yeshiva. He calls the rabbi. He tells him, aren't you learning with such and such? He says, yeah, sure. He goes, how long ago? Why don't you tell him that he's making the life of the yeshiva, the bachurim, the religious community miserable? Tell him to stop. No, tell him. He goes, no, we don't talk politics. We don't talk politics, Kvod Harav. What do you mean you don't learn politics? This is Torah. He's making the life of Am Yisrael miserable. What politics? It has nothing to do with politics. He goes, no, Kvod Harav. When we come, we learn. So Ovadia asked him, wait, how long are you learning with him? He thought maybe he's learning with him for like 2 weeks, or 2 months, or maybe even 6 months. So it's like, oh, okay, so we're not comfortable with each other yet to talk politics, maybe. He's trying to slowly but surely get him in. Some people, they want to go like a snail. They figure they're going to live 190 years, so we're going to go slowly but surely. Every week, we're going to teach you 1 letter of the alphabet. Every week. By the time you finish the alphabet, you're 190 years old. Because you have the nikud, the bet, the vet, the boo. No, it's not just the no, the vowels also. By the time you finish, you're 190 years old every week. What about Shabbat? No, we haven't gone to that yet. Yeah, but he's not, what do you think, he's metushelach? You think he's metushelach? He's going to live 1,000 years? What's the matter? No, le'at, little by little. What's little by little? When is he going to know how to be a Jew? So Rav Ovadia didn't know how long is he studying with this. He asked him, how long are you learning chavruta with this kofir? He goes, oh, Kvod Harav, we're probably learning almost 20 years together. Rav Ovadia told him, you are no longer allowed to study with him ever. What? Kvod Harav, I learned 20 years, my chavruta, I teach him, my student. You're not, I'm telling you, by law, according to the Torah, you're not allowed to learn. Your Torah is poison to him. What do you mean? He's a big Talmid Chacham. How can it be? Your Torah is poison to him. Why? It's not affecting him. If you haven't affected him after a year, Forget 20 years. After a year, nothing's changed. There's already a problem. Rashi says if you haven't advanced in 5 years of learning Torah, you should move on to something else. Just learn how to be a basic level Jew. Don't bother. Why? No matter what kind of Torah are you learning. If you're teaching people in shiurim, in classes, and so on, 20 years, they're still mechalel Shabbat, it's you that's the problem, the teacher. And that's what a lot of people don't like to hear. Why? Because it talks about the person that's speaking. It's easy to talk about you guys. So now, a person needs to know that if he's going to learn Torah, it has to move him. It has to shake him. He has to take a few notes that he knows. This one, I don't even need to write it down. I'm going to write it because I want to make sure I remember it, but I don't even need to. This is already engraved in my mind. It shook me up in a shiur. Shook me up. I can't believe he said that. Every shiur should be, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe this is true. I can't believe HaShem command. Why? Because it has to shock your system to such an extent. He says, I can't believe I've been living a lie for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Until now, I found out the truth. If the entire shiur, nothing happened like that, something's wrong. Something's wrong. More times than not, it's the teacher. But sometimes it's the student too.